And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome, everyone, to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Friday, August 1st, 2025. And in the weather-related headlines across the state of Alaska, we've had high-pressure rebuild across the interior, and it's creating dry and very warm temperatures that will continue here into the weekend. A number of locations, especially creeping upward through the Yukon Valley areas north up to the south slopes of the Brooks Range, even over into the North Slope. We'll see temperatures in the 70s, even some lower 80s are possible. We have yet another trough of low pressure rotating westward around a low that's been down in the lower Gulf and North Pacific all week long. That's going to bring another round of some rain to areas of South Central this Friday night into Saturday. Already that's working its way through the northern Gulf Coast around Cordova, bringing some rain and fog there this afternoon. The National Weather Service Forecast Office in Juneau will also present a video talking about how to prepare for the Mendenhall Glacial Lake outburst flood, as that's been a series we've been doing this week regarding that threat as the Mendenhall Suicide Basin continues to fill with meltwater. And we'll see, because the potential for a release could be coming up here over the next few weeks, or maybe a little longer, not exactly known for sure. And then looking at the extended outlook as we get into the first week or two of August, we're going to start to trend wetter, especially across south central areas along the Gulf Coast, southeast mainland, and Panhandle. I'll show you the map on that. Way up on the north there toward the Beaufort Sea coast, just inland a bit, New Exit, sunny, very warm, 73 degrees. In fact, it was 70 at Point Lay over on the northwest Chukchi Sea coast. Meanwhile, Cordova, we have that trough rotating westward, bringing rain and light fog, 59 degrees, and that rain will be spreading eastward across the Chugach and increasing here as we go through this Friday night and Saturday morning. And here's a beautiful image of Noctalucent Clouds. Thank you, Sebastian Weiser there from Dawson City and Yukon Territories. He managed to capture. This is a Noctalucent cloud. It's the Earth's highest cloud, 50 miles above the surface in the mesosphere. They're created by when water ice is able to attach to either meteor dust or, more commonly now, rocket exhaust. And in the summertime in the northern hemisphere, especially between Memorial Day weekend and up through about mid-August, is considered the Noctalucent cloud season, and they become more prevalent in the past decade. These clouds here are the typical tropospheric clouds at or below 30,000 feet. They're silhouetted because the sun is about 8 degrees now below the horizon, so they're shadowed because the sun angle is hitting these clouds that are much higher. And looking at the hazardous weather, area of concern for tonight into Saturday morning is an enhanced area of rain that's going to work its way across the eastern Alaska Range, upper Tanana Valley. Some of the rainfall rates could be up around an inch an hour later this Friday evening through Saturday morning, which could cause some rapid runoff and rises of these short-run rivers and creeks that are along the eastern Alaska Range and up through that area of the Tanana Valley. So be aware of that. And otherwise, no other watch warnings or advisories. And the fire weather update, this is coming up for Saturday. Temperatures across the interior, 70s, some lower 80s. Humidities are going to be dropping down. There could be some stronger southerly gap winds in the Alaska Range and the passes there that could gust up to 30 miles an hour. And precipitation will be heaviest in the western half of south central as rain continues into Saturday morning. So the hottest and driest conditions, temperatures will be in the 70s to lower 80s, potentially just not only Saturday, Sunday, but even lingering into Monday, especially along the Elcan border there in the east central parts of the mainland. And so the ridge that's brought this warm, dry weather will begin to break down. There's going to be a cold front coming in off the Arctic Ocean, pushing in through the Beaufort Sea coastline as we get into Monday morning. But here's the fire danger outlook for Saturday. And spruce adjective, greatest carrier fire in the mid and late fire season. Very pronounced along north of the Yukon River, including the Yukon Flats, also an area up there in the central north slope, just on the other side of the spine of the Brooks Range. And satellite imagery, it's kind of the same old. We have this, look at this low circulation here, centered near the lower Gulf, North Pacific. Here's that arm trough rotating back to the west. That's what's going to bring more rain into south central, including the Kenai Peninsula, Anchorage Bowl, parts of the Mat-Su Valley, and Chugach Mountains through here. That'll be especially increasing through later this Friday evening and night into Saturday morning before it starts to taper off. That's also what's going to cause the heavier rainfall across the eastern Alaska Range and upper Tanana Valley as that feature rotates back to the west. So Northway, Tok, those areas there could pick up some soaking rains this Friday night, early Saturday morning. Back to the far west, we have low pressure sitting here in the Bering Sea north of the western central Aleutians with a front arcing ahead of it. And late tonight, that front will gradually push toward the Alaska Peninsula. Meanwhile, the low sits and spins here along the lower Gulf, North Pacific interface. There's that little trough rotating westward. And then we have generally the high pressure ridge. So those of you up here along the Alcan border, maybe see some Noctalucent Clouds later tonight. Best time to look would be probably after 1 a.m., especially between 2 and 3 a.m. would be a good time to look with the sun angles the lowest below the horizon. And Saturday, we have that ridge of high pressure extending from the northern half of the mainland up into far northwest Canada. Still the low spinning there, the lower Gulf, North Pacific. This is a sliver of a high pressure ridge as the dirty ridge because we have some showers and lower clouds with it. But yes, actually a little higher pressure Saturday afternoon along the eastern Kenai up to 1024 millibars. And then here's that low just sitting and spinning, slowly weakening in the Bering with the front eastward with a weak secondary low trying to form well south of Kodiak Island and the Alaska Peninsula. And then on Sunday, that low, not all that impressive. The other low finally weakening. As it opens up, it could spread a few more showers, lingering light showers in areas of the Panhandle on Sunday. And the low just continues to sit and spin out here in the central Bering Sea. Here comes that cold front off the Arctic Ocean. And this front will be dropping southeastward on Monday morning in through the Beaufort Sea coast and in through the North Slope. And it will have some rain showers. There could be a few wet snowflakes mixed in along the Beaufort Sea coast, but otherwise it should still be warm enough for mainly rain. So those of you up, I should have mentioned too that Point Lay had a temperature of 70 this afternoon, so it's a warm one even in the far north and along the Chukchi Sea coast there in the northwest coast. So here's the forecast tonight. Mild night for southern areas, south central with the cloud cover and rain staying above 50. Low mid-50s across the Panhandle. Really warm temperatures here. Lower Yukon, lower middle Yukon and Kuskokwim valleys, mid, even some upper 50s for lows. Probably one of the warmer nights you've seen this summer when it's not raining. And then taking a look at what we got for temperatures Saturday afternoon, 70s, even a few 80-degree readings possible as you go up along the Yukon River Valley, the length of it. And we have temperatures again could be in the 70s, parts of the North Slope, 71. The forecast high for Dead Horse, 74, Anatuvik Pass, flirting with 80. Bettles on over toward the Yukon Flats and Nenana. And then for Sunday morning, we're looking for low temperatures. Still low mid-50s for the Panhandle. Generally lower 50s, maybe a few 40s, Copper River Basin up toward Isabel Pass. And then again, mild temperatures. Look at this, Kotzebue, a low of 61 on Sunday morning. So this is some really warm air. And for Sunday afternoon, we could see an 80-degree reading, Yukon Flats. Something could pop up here along the south slopes of the Brooks Range in toward the middle Yukon. So again, very warm temperatures up here, at least 60s. I'm sure there'll be a couple more 70s up there along the North Slope, potentially into Sunday. So the extended temperature outlook for August 7th through the 11th shows that temperatures will be a bit cooler than normal across northern areas of the state along and north of the Brooks Range, including North Slope and Arctic Coast. And then maybe a little above normal in areas of south central, southwest, including surrounding Prince William Sound, Kenai Peninsula, and down toward Kodiak Island. And then precipitation-wise, this is where, again, we're talking about low pressures coming in up out of the North Pacific. They'll bring that moisture, gets flung in along the Gulf Coast into the Panhandle. Some of it gets pushed further inland into the southeast interior, could get all the way up to eastern Alaska range or to Fairbanks Northway. So this is looking where it's going to start to get weather, and not just looking a little beyond that into mid-month. It's just looking like, yes, all areas along southern mainland, southeast mainland, into the Panhandle and along the Gulf Coast could see occasionally wetter weather than what we've experienced here through a good portion of the midsummer. And coming up now, the National Weather Service Forecast Office, Juneau, will explain what to do to help prepare for this potential Mendenhall Glacier Lake outburst flood.
So how can you prepare before an event? Well, before I moved to Juneau, Alaska, I used to live in Tornado Alley, and I would tell people that having severe weather preparedness plans in place are like having a plunger. You want to have it long before you ever need it. So let's say we see indications that a GLOF is starting and we post that river forecast showing major flooding. Will you be impacted? How can you quickly see that information in the moment? Or how can you see that information beforehand so you can make a better preparedness plan? Well, with the help from other government agencies, we have created flood inundation maps, and they are available online for you to view. These can be viewed anytime, so you can prepare long before the next event starts, or they can be viewed during the event to get more information about flooding as it's happening. So where can you access this information? Well, you can go to water.noaa.gov/gauges/MNDA2 for more.